My fancy belly.
What's up? Welcome in on this Tuesday, the 7th day of April 2026. So many things to talk about, so many things to get into, and you're in the right place. You might be in an attic, like some of our people have told us over the past couple of weeks. You could be anywhere right now. We appreciate you spending a little time with us. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Follow us on all of our social channels, at Mike Arana Show, everywhere but Snapchat, because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks. TM, hashtag registered trademark of TJ's there. Sign up for our newsletter, mikearanashow.com/links. Came out early this morning. Lots of good stuff in there. Gives you a little preview of the week, and you'll be the first to know certain things coming up on the program. Tonight on the program, we got a lot of headlines to go through. Cockroach coaches, injuries piling up, high dollar coaches that nobody saw coming. It's Tuesday. And it's all three of us, which means tonight we're going to puck around and find out in the NHL as we wind towards the end of the regular season. We're also going to keep you up to date on whatever's going on in the NBA, as T and I talked about last week on Lunchtime Live. Not really a whole lot to tell you there because we've known the damn field in the NBA postseason for the better part of 2 weeks now, but there is some interesting stuff going on. Injury concerns as well in the NBA, specifically in San Antonio. So again, feel free to get in what you want to get in. We're also going to make some picks for the Masters tonight. It is that week on the calendar. And guys, a couple of years ago, and you can vouch for me on this one, especially you, Mac, I wanted to do, they put out the Masters Champions Dinner menu all the time, and I wanted to jump on it and go, I wonder what the guys would put on their Champions Dinner menu. Not that any of us would be allowed within 25 feet of Augusta, but if we were to be so lucky, and now it's like the rage and the trend and everybody's doing it, so now it just looks like we're copying everybody else. It was legitimately an original idea of mine. Vegas Mac, how in the hell are you?
I'm doing well. A little bummed after last night's game. I thought the boys, I thought they played well. It's so crazy that game really came down to like a 5-6 minute stretch between the end of the first and start of the second quarter. But listen, 3 out of the last 4 years, they made it to the championship, just came up a little short. But I'm proud of the team.
Kind of came up a little bit short, like my choice of shirts right now. That is awful on camera. Way to go. Need to go back into the tailor's closet here in a minute. TJ, with his ever so random collection of shirts, it looks like it's Go Tigers tonight. What's up, buddy?
Well, I just want to point out that this is not an endorsement of one Lane Kiffin. So let's not get too crazy. I don't want to get Herb and Raj all bent out of shape here. It was basically I needed to find something in the closet quick. Purple caught my attention, and on it went.
Speaking of catching things, we're going to talk about maybe the greatest defensive performance in the history of Major League Baseball this weekend, in case you missed it. T's going to tell you about what he did this weekend. I can confirm, as far as we know, there was no injuries due to moving crates last night during the national championship game. Obviously, it didn't quite get to where Mac wanted it to get to, but that's where we're going to start tonight, because the Michigan Wolverines, for the second time in program history, are your national champions. And guys, I put this in the newsletter this morning before we get into kind of some nuts and bolts of the game. I don't think it was, and people are going to go, well, yeah, of course, because they won, you can say this now. No, I don't think it was debatable for the better part of the year. There was a little bit of time who the true number one team in the country was, but from start to finish, Michigan was that team. And I think the thing that I take away from last night's game, and I'll start with the president of the Hurley Oriema fan club in the middle there, but I think the thing I take away from last night's game is Michigan was beating the shit out of everybody on this pathway to the national title. And last night's game was tailor-made to exactly what UConn wanted. Low scoring, gritty, physical, and Michigan said, oh yeah, we can do that too. That was my biggest takeaway from last night, Mac.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of saw over the last couple of games Michigan in quite a different way. We saw them on Saturday against a different type of team in Arizona. They shot the lights out. They just, I mean, they turned up the defense. They limited Arizona. One of the things you said it on the show. If Arizona got into a 3-point shooting contest, they might be in trouble. And it just seemed like everything that Michigan threw up on Saturday went in. A little different story on last night. Like you said, it was more of a Big East type game, but UConn just didn't have enough in the tank. Didn't have enough offense, and it's exactly what championship teams do. Championships teams are able to play through the course of the season different styles of basketball and or whatever the sport is, but they're able to play different styles and win. And I think those two games just in the Final Four show how good Michigan was. They played two different styles of basketball and won one going away. And for the most part, I mean, they were pretty much in control from about the middle of the first half on. I mean, it wasn't comfortable, but they were in control.
Yeah, I never got the feeling that Michigan was in trouble at all last night. So that's a good sign for them. Bummer for UConn. I was really pulling for them. I thought they were a great story. But Michigan, they just showed for the entire season that they were indeed the best team. What they did on Saturday against Arizona was absolutely just phenomenal basketball. We were talking about how is this whole coaching situation going to be a distraction. I don't know if that was it, but Arizona just got absolutely annihilated in every facet of the game. It was unreal to see. So, give Michigan their flowers, man. They deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Elliot Cadeau nabs the most outstanding player of the tournament. And you could definitely see the differences, especially in last night's game when Cadeau was not on the floor as compared to when he was on the floor. And a guy who, if you've watched Michigan all year, was really kind of maddening to follow. Too streaky, inconsistent at times. And I think he absolutely deserved the MOP award last night for what he was able to do. And, we talk about this all the time, too. Good teams win, great teams cover. UConn got the cover last night by a half a point there. And it was interesting to see. And I was talking to a couple people while watching the game. I tried to leave Vegas Mac alone. I know how I am when one of my team's in the title game. So you're kind of locked in. You don't want to be distracted, even though you two dolts were texting me about freaking roof ball bullshit last night. But, it was the ability for Michigan to not let UConn get that thing into that 4 range, get it down to a single possession game. And I was expecting it. And even one of the text messages I sent Mac was like, I think UConn's going to have this thing tied up by the 5-minute mark. And every time they got close, Michigan was able to hold them off.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. UConn just could not, from an offensive standpoint, get any consistency, that consistent run. They just couldn't do it. Michigan just too much from a defensive standpoint. Again, hats off. I think what we saw in both the football national championship and also here in the tournament is, for the most part, the best team won the championship, and that's kind of a good thing. I mean, Indiana was without a doubt the best football team we saw this year, and maybe a little more doubt in basketball, but for the most part, I think Michigan was the best team we saw from start to finish all year.
Well, yeah, I mean they got out in front in the Big Ten and just started cruising from there. I remember they had a big game against Nebraska that I was really excited about, and they wound up beating Nebraska. So, they held UConn to 31% shooting last night. Like, holy smokes, what a defensive effort that is. I got out rebounded, but I mean, you're holding a team to 30% from the field. I'll take my chances.
Yeah, the hard luck guy last night, and this sucks, but it's part of what we find out when a team loses. A guy who I thought was fantastic for the entire tournament, Terrace Reed Jr. of UConn, that he spent 2 years at Michigan and 2 years at UConn, and the dude somehow didn't end up with a national championship in his time there. Like, you're going to talk about it. It's the end of a hell of a career for Alex Caravan at UConn. kind of interesting to see him walk off the floor without a national championship. I know he did it the year prior when Florida was able to knock off UConn, but and now we turn, as we will, to another season. And of course, there's odds out on this already that are way too obnoxiously early. But Duke is your early line favorite for next year's national championship at 8-1. Michigan 11-1, Florida 14-1, Arizona 15-1, UConn 20-1, and North Carolina, who we're going to talk about in just a second, 25-1.
I don't know how you could even begin to touch that. I mean, here's the thing. I just saw. I wish I could find it. I just saw a tweet that went out, and they already said there's almost over 3,000 kids already in the portal. I mean, how could you? I mean, as like a UConn fan, like I don't know I don't know who's going to be on the team next year.
2,901 was the number that I got early this morning. That's almost half of the entire Division I.
Right. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, which guys aren't coming back, who are, some of the seniors, some of the better players who probably are not going to come back. But other than that, I mean, you don't know who's coming back, and you don't know who's coming in. So those numbers I couldn't even begin to touch or even want to touch until some of the portal stuff kind of figures itself out. It's this is
silly. Yeah, you're 100% right. That's why I laugh at them when they come out. Like, we know entering the season it's highly unlikely that Duke is 8-1, and with all those players in the transfer portal and everything that's going to happen. And can we stop this? T, I heard this last night. We'll go T then Mac on this one. But I heard it a lot. I saw it a lot. Obviously, Michigan, when we talk about villains in sports, Michigan fits the bill as far as college athletics go, especially in hoops and in football. But, like, the amount of people just dumping on it and taking a crap on it because Michigan won a national title with 5 transfers. Hello? Are we not paying attention to what's happening in college sports? You're just mad because Dusty May is really good at working the transfer portal. That's the way them rules are now. That's the way he played it. He's a national champion, and you are not.
That's a little complicated for me, though. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Doesn't Michigan also have a player on their roster that's 25 years old too? Like, if this is the new way of doing things, I don't think that second part bodes very well. But I mean, it is what it is. Don't hate the player, hate the game, right? So if you're sour about it, that's fine. But you just got to play. You're just playing by the rules, man. Just playing by the rules. And by the way, I would stay the hell away from Arizona at anything to 1 at this point, because that was such an abomination. I got suckered in. I drank the Kool-Aid, and I wish I would have thrown it back up.
I had a great text conversation with a friend of mine in Tucson, and he was kind of giving me a hard time Saturday during the UConn game, saying, "Well, you think they're going to make it?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're hanging in there pretty good, and they won the game." And his last text to me was, "I'll see you Monday night." I said, "Okay, good luck. I hope everything turns out well for you." I haven't texted him back. I feel bad because it was such an ass whooping on Saturday. But all I know is my wife was in transit from Tucson up to the mountain, and she texted me. She's like, "Did Arizona forget how to play basketball tonight?" It was pretty bad. So.
Yeah, it was butt ugly on Saturday night, but we had that conversation with Arizona down the stretch. I mean, we expected it to happen. We knew it was probably going to happen. Then they made you think that they were just good enough not to fall into old Arizona, and all of a sudden old Arizona showed up.
But see, I'm going to say I know what you mean. Like, there's part of what we enjoy about college is, knowing that, that guy that you got as a freshman is going to be there as a sophomore, going to be there as a junior and whatnot. And, and here's the thing, unfortunately, that's come and gone. That's not college sports. I mean, you can look at the teams right now, and, we won't mention any names of coaches or teams, but there are teams that don't believe in it. And you can see, unfortunately, they're not having very much success. And so, if you're not keeping up, you're falling behind.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right. Like I said, don't hate the player, hate the game. Who was really good at that, and he was kind of ahead of the game a little bit, was Eric Musselman, because those 17, 18, 19 Nevada teams were all transfers, and I don't remember hearing anybody complaining at all from that side of the country.
Like I said, unfortunately, the people who are getting hurt the most out of this are high school kids, are high school, seniors who, unless you're that elite 4-star, they're the ones who get hurt the most because I mean, and I heard it said, and it makes total sense. What would you rather have? Would you rather have that sophomore or junior who's played and is proven and you kind of know what he can do versus somebody, even look at Braden Mullins who played for UConn. I mean, he had a good season. Do I think he should go in the draft? I mean, personally, I don't think he should. I think he needs another year. But I mean, I totally get it why he will. But I mean, that's the thing. It's like you'd rather take a proven commodity than something that you don't know about.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I'm going to, T-Br mentioned something here, so I'm going to give a shout out to our guys at ASN Throwback on Instagram, on the IG, yo. They do this fantastic thing every day, this day in sports history. Funny you brought up Eric Musselman, because on this day in sports history, 2019, Arkansas hired Eric Musselman. Also on this day in 2019, the Panthers fired Bob Bugner. It's kind of interesting when you look back at some of these to like project forward as to like what's happened since then. And I'm going to throw this one out because I couldn't pass an opportunity for this. On this day in 2021, Arizona fired Sean Miller. There you go. I had to get that one out. Speaking of college basketball and speaking of Arizona coaches that might have been the apple of one Carolina eye, we find out yesterday that Michael Malone is the new head coach at the University of North Carolina. There's been a lot of snap reactions to this. The cheap, easy, stupid take is, well, he's never coached in college. Not actually factually accurate. He's been an assistant coach in college a few times. It's been a long time ago. He's never been a head coach in college. But this one totally came out of left field. They were spurned, if you will, Carolina was, by Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd. And it sounds like, from what we can gather here about 24 hours later, guys, this move was made for two different reasons. And there was another interesting piece of subtext here. So that subtext is, it sounds like from everybody around Billy Donovan that Billy Donovan was strongly considering the job and would have taken it, wanted to wait till the NBA season was officially over. North Carolina then, as I mentioned, got spurned by Dusty May and Tommy Lloyd and had to panic and pivot very quickly here. Michael Malone's daughter is an outside hitter on the Tar Heels volleyball team at Carolina. He got a huge deal today. The other thing I think nobody's really paying attention to here, and we think these schools just literally have money printing machines, but some of them choose to be somewhat fiscally responsible at times. Michael Malone was the only coach that they were targeting that they wouldn't have had to pay a buyout on. And with the dumbass timing of when the transfer portal opened, North Carolina couldn't really wait longer than the latest that they waited yesterday to announce Michael Malone as the next head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Reaction. React to me, Vegas Mac.
The problem is, and I, now that I've seen the one tweet that's gone out, I can't unsee it. And so I'll just bring it up because I have a hard time thinking of anything else. We all know who their football coach is, and the tweet was the next baseball coach at North Carolina, and it had a picture of Tony La Russa, right? And so I mean, I think it's just kind of funny.
Where did you see that tweet?
I don't remember where I saw that. It was great, but I mean that it's kind of funny. I'm like, so why would we be complaining about this? This is a guy who's had assistant coach jobs in college. He's been a professional coach. I don't see a problem with it. He's got obvious ties to the university. It's kind of exactly what you want. It's kind of a little bit of the trend that you're seeing. You're seeing
Hmm.
a lot of these teams are taking people who have some sort of connection, whether that's they've played there or they have family members there or something along that line. That sort of connection is you're starting to see that happen more often. I think I think it's a great idea if you've got that the familiarity with the university, what they do. Obviously, if he's got a daughter that's gone through the program, I mean, he understands the athletic program. And obviously he's got the pedigree to. I mean, was an NBA head coach. I mean, what more could you ask for?
Too many bars in Carolina for Tony La Russa, just for the record. T, what was your reaction to it?
Uh, it's their money. It's their coach. They can do what they want. I mean, he's got 500 NBA wins, so that gives him cred with the kids who want to go and play at the next level. I mean, he's been successful. He's won a championship. Like, I'm fine with this move. I don't know why people are making such a big deal of it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. And that's another point, Mac, that T brings up there that I know something I said to a friend of mine who was a Carolina fan yesterday. This has also got to be a play from Carolina to go, hey, we know we can put up money for NIL and stuff like that, but we need to also find our way to sell the kids on something else. And if you come to Carolina, who better to get you prepped for playing at the next level than Michael Malone, who is a Greg Popovich descendant. And I think it's a fantastic hire, Mac, for Carolina.
And I think it's like I said, I think it fits what we know North Carolina to go after. They're going to go after somebody who has experience. I think that's really what we're looking for, and somebody who has a proven track record. Yeah, it's not in college, but it's at a level higher. It's in the NBA. It's again, I think maybe the first year with Belichick wasn't the greatest. And we'll have to see what it looks like in year two. But obviously, North Carolina feels that this is a good route to go.
Yeah, and I think you said something last week too, and T, I'll let you react to this first. You said something last week that when we were talking specifically about Billy Donovan, and there is an update on his situation in Chicago that I'll pass along here in just a second, but is there really that big of a difference between the NBA game and the college game right now? And T, there isn't.
No, not with the way that colleges are organizing quote front offices and quote general managers. It's literally a stepping stone on the route. So I don't see this ending as horribly as some people think. But I also did like Arizona on Saturday.
I think, guys, that you're going to see more of this. I think you see more of colleges are gonna go towards coaches to coach, and like we said, a GM or somebody to run the program. I don't really think that he may even be one of the big recruiters. I mean, yeah, he may go and recruit somebody they really want, but for the most part, I don't think that's going to be his job. I think his job is going to be X's and O's, running the basketball program from that standpoint, and I think there'll be somebody else who's doing all of that other NIL crap and everything else.
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested in because I do kind of, especially from a basketball standpoint, I think I'm very big into the whole GM concept in college sports now because you're seeing the right kind of guys doing it. You don't need some suit and tie dope GM. You need a guy that can connect with ball players, see Shaquille O'Neal, see Stephen Curry, see all these NBAers that are maybe not active on the day-to-day aspect of things, but they're throwing their name behind their schools and their programs. That is another thing that I think is fantastic with this day and age of college sports that does have so much wrong with it is we're getting guys to come back to where they cut their teeth and do what they can to try and keep those good players in those programs.
Yeah, like I said, it's the wave of the way things are going to go, and I think like you said, that's exactly right. You're going to get some sort of alum or big star. I think you're going to see eventually it may not even be an athlete. It may be, like I think of Texas, like with Matthew McConaughey or something like that. You're going to see an actor or
Right on.
right, exactly. I think again, that's what you're going to use to pull the athletes in. Again, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. Anything you want to get off of your mind, off of your chest. Billy Donovan. I'm going to say a name, Chicago people, please. Hopefully you're not driving, because I know the anger that this last name brings to the table. But Bulls CEO and team president Michael Reinsdorf on Tuesday outlined the qualities he is looking for in a new head of basketball operations for the Chicago Bulls after they fired Arturas Karnisovas and general manager Mark Eversley. Reinsdorf came out and said the new GM must be sold on Billy Donovan. So now, what we thought a couple weeks ago here, that Donovan was probably a no-brainer for Carolina because of the time in Chicago ending, I'm really interested to see, speaking of GMs or overseers of basketball operations, what happens here, because there's going to be a little bit of a bias twist in this, and that's fine. We're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it. I think Billy Donovan has proven that he can coach at both levels. I know people are going to go, well, what did he win in OKC and what did he win in Chicago? If you think that the Chicago Bulls have had anything that resembles the word plan over Billy Donovan's time there, I don't know what you've been watching. We're talking about a great basketball coach, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him end up back in college before he's done. But I'd love to see Chicago, Mac, give him some kind of fighting chance with a roster in an East that really has 4 playoff positions that could change every year for the next 5 years.
It'd be interesting to see, and I don't know that he would, but wonder if you'll start to see somebody. I think he would be a great candidate to go the Brad Stevens route and take over and say, listen, Give me that job. I know what it takes to put together a roster and put it together and see, I would be interested to see if that would even be an option.
You know whose staff screams to me if Billy doesn't go quite that route, and I don't think that's a bad idea at all, but whose staff screams to me if he leaves Chicago, this is where you're going to see him next, is Golden State as a right-hand man for Steve Kerr. One of the things that Steve Kerr has done in his whole time there is brought in guys that have gone on to be head coaches. Some of them not great, Luke Walton. Other guys like Mike Brown, who's back, Terry Stotts. He's moved guys through there, and I know Kerr and Donovan have a good relationship. And let's be honest here, we don't know how much longer Steve Kerr really plans on coaching. As of right now, as of this minute, he doesn't even have a contract to coach the Warriors next year. So I'd be hopeful that a guy with Billy Donovan's acumen and who's just great for the game would be able to stay in the game. Let's talk about the actual game that's going on. And I know TJ is going to be very upset about this latest development, but the Lakers are dropping like flies. Austin Reeves is out for the rest of the regular season. Luka Doncic exploring Spain for treatment options for his hamstring, for a team that was playing tremendous basketball and making some people believers here. This is troubled times for the Lakers going into the postseason. They've lost now 2 in a row. They've fallen below Denver into the 4 spot, which would put them up against Houston as of now in the first round. Lakers are dropping like flies, T. Are you going to make it through this troubling time in your life?
Your thoughts and prayers are appreciated during this difficult and trying time. I think this team is fool's gold anyway. So, but it is unfortunate because when you're going into the playoffs, you want your best and most healthiest team going forward. So it is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Other teams are injured too.
Isn't it funny that they've kind of gone through the whole year? They've kind of gone, Reeves and then Luka, and then they brought in, not brought in, but he came back from injury with LeBron, and they're going to end up going into the playoffs with LeBron James being the main cog, probably, of the whole thing. So here we go again.
Bronny, bro.
No,
yeah,
LeBron's out tonight too. So good luck with that for entertainment purposes.
Yeah, I know we've. I don't know if where we want to go down this road, but I got to tell you,
If Mac is cautioning the road that we might be going down, this is going to be a good one.
I am really questioning the NBA. I really am. The amount of guys that don't play, to have a league, I just was sitting on my brain the other day. You have a league that's determining an MVP based off a number of games that you play. Who the hell does that? Like, you can only, like, your product is so bad that your stars aren't even playing in enough games to get an MVP award. This is ridiculous. And look no further than the teams right next to you that play hockey. I don't see this in hockey. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe I'm missing it. Tell me I'm missing it. But I don't see this. I watch, the Carolina Hurricanes religiously almost every game that I see. And it's kind of funny. For the most part, I see the same guys out there every single night, minus guys who actually have an injury. I don't see, well, Seth Jarvis is not playing tonight because he has a swollen eyelid or he needs time off. What the hell is wrong with the NBA? I'm so confused.
It's a culture thing. That's all it is. I'm convinced, because in when you're playing midget, bantams, and juniors, you're fighting for your job. You want to go and you're fighting to get to the next level, and you'll do anything you can to get to that next level. And then once you get to that next level, you'll do anything you can to stay there. And nothing is guaranteed, because there's always 20 guys trying to get your job. In the NBA, it's not like that. And I'll be honest with you, dude. I think that when the salaries went up so big with the television contract, there's no incentive anymore for players to give a shit. There's none. Like, their check is getting direct deposited on Tuesday, whether they play or not. And it stinks, because who loses out? The dude who shells out $1,000 to go watch the Clippers play the Trailblazers when Kawhi Leonard doesn't play. That's the guy who loses out.
And trees to plant that day. He was tired.
I like I said, it's just the more I've thought about it with the whole MVP thing, it just makes me laugh. Like, we have to eliminate guys from the MVP talk because they didn't play enough games. Some have legitimate injuries, but a lot of it just because, well, we need a night off. You're only working 82 nights a year anyway. I'm like, I don't get it.
I'm still trying to get my eyelid to swell, because I want to know what that feels like.
I think there's a balance here between, like, what sports science has to do with this and, like, a general attitude in the league about, playing. Because if you look at the NHL has sports science guys too. Mm-hmm. And like you said, I don't see Matthew Barzal taking days off because he doesn't feel good. Those guys will go out there at any time, anywhere. So I think there's some sort of disconnect here between the agendas. But I think ultimately the players they have all the leverage, man. They have absolutely all the leverage.
I will tell you, I played both. And I've played, in those tournaments where I play, 3 basketball games in a or 4 in a weekend. And I played in those hockey tournaments where you play 3 or 4. And I can just tell you, from experience, after 4 basketball games, yeah, you're tired, but I can still go play a 5th basketball game. After the 4th hockey game, it starts to take a toll. And like I said, I just don't understand. I'm calling it out. I'm like, hockey is harder than basketball. It just truly is. There's no doubt about it. It's more physical than basketball. It's harder than basketball. And these guys are still going out there night after night. It's an absolute embarrassment.
How did you receive your hockey equipment when you played hockey back in the day? Was it like covered wagon? Because I know there was no Amazon or sporting goods stores.
Mule, uphill, uphill both ways.
In the uphill both ways in the snow.
And listen, in our stadium, we didn't even have. It was outdoors. We just played outdoors. It was outdoor stadiums, all of them.
You
You
might
know, and we didn't even have a Zamboni. We were the Zamboni. At the end of the period, we didn't go change and have a rest. We had to go shovel the snow.
We are not talking about Zambonis on this show tonight because I saw some bullshit today that we are not referencing and not giving it attention.
Thank you.
I figured you'd appreciate that one. MVP, you brought that up as we finish up basketball and go into some hockey here. Interesting, ESPN did a straw poll, 3.0, full results. Now we have straw polls, multiple editions of straw polls. News to me. Victor Wembanyama is closing the gap on SGA to win another MVP. Nikola Jokic, who honestly should be the MVP with as little of their normal team that he's had to play with this year. But it is what it is. It looks like SGA is going to win his final MVP. It doesn't look like the Spurs are going to be able to catch the Thunder because you essentially need to win out and need Oklahoma City to lose 3 of their final 4 games here. But the important thing for the Spurs today is we're not talking about Victor Wembanyama being out for an extended period of time. If you didn't see it last night, as somebody that's had more knives in his shoulder than any human should have, I was fearing for the worst. Got kind of awkward, hit on his arm going into for just a contested ball. There's no structural damage to him. He does have a rib contusion, but there's confidence he's going to play again in the regular season to meet the requirements for aforementioned postseason awards. I don't think anybody in San Antonio really gives a shit about that. But we avoided a major disaster because, we already have questions about Cade Cunningham's health. We got questions going in about Luka Doncic's health. We've got, questions at this point about the overall health of the Oklahoma City Thunder, who do look like they're going to be fully healthy going into the playoffs. And then this with Wemby, that'd have been a blow to the NBA playoffs going in when they're already struggling for some of that attention because of the things that we've been talking about. So San Antonio avoids major disaster last night, T.
Well, it's huge. It's huge for the Spurs, for that team that we're all thinking is going to take that next step in the postseason this year. That's absolutely huge.
All right. Now we got to talk about another guy as we transition ourselves into Puck Around and Find Out. Feel free to comment along if you're watching along. We'll get to as many of them. I do have to do this before we do get into our first hockey story of the night. I wanted to give a shout out to our very own Vegas Mac, who took our bracket contest and took it in such dominating fashion that he finished in the top 8,000 of all people that put brackets together. I would give shout outs to who finished second and third in our contest because they had good numbers too, but I have no idea who these people are. Next year when we do this, people, it is important that we know what your bracket is. I will give a shout out to friend of the program, follower of the program, Lori, because she came in fourth, a distant fourth, to Vegas Max. Run of freaking dump. You beat the bracket pool this year like Michigan beat Arizona's ass on Saturday night. So congratulations.
I appreciate it. I'm pretty excited. I also won our family pool too, so I got that one. I had the whole Final Four. I had the whole thing picked out. I had Illinois, UConn, Arizona, and Michigan and Connecticut in the final, and I actually had Michigan winning it. So I was on fire.
Dumbest bracket name ever. And for winning 2 bracket contests, Vegas Mac won a grand prize of getting to continue to do the show with us. Let's go to hockey right here. Last week we talked about it. Tortorella coming in for Bruce Cassidy, and we thought that was crazy timing. Well, the Islanders said, hold my beer, and decided that they were going to bounce Patrick Waugh with, I think, 5 games were left? 4?
5 games.
5 games left because they needed a spark to try and get that last playoff spot. So apparently they thought so poorly of Patrick Waugh to fire him because they didn't think with the way the team was going that the Islanders could have made up a whopping, this is a chasm, a 1-point chasm in between them and a playoff spot. What does this say for one of the best goaltenders of my generation, TJ?
It says that I'm not sure if the Islanders know what they're doing right now, but I don't watch the Islanders on a nightly basis, but I talked to some people who do. They said this team is just, even with Matthew Schaefer, this team is missing something defensively. I think they're just missing something 5-on-5. Like, this team is 30th on the excuse me, let me shoot again. 30th on the power
Good job,
play.
McKinnon. You missed the whole damn net to the left.
30th in offensive zone time percentage 5-on-5, 21st in 5-on-5 shot attempts percentage. So this team is not very good on the offensive side. And look, they got Barzal and Horvat's having a good year, but this team is just missing something. And they're hoping that PDB can get that something back. But it's looking like this is more of a 26-27 fix for the Islanders.
Yeah, and PDB, Mac, is the human cockroach when it comes to coaching jobs in the NHL. And I understand, we know what PDB's magic is when he gets to the postseason. I've gotten to experience a little bit of that firsthand, but this is going, hey, you've got this legendary like postseason thing going on. Can you do it with 5 games left?
So I'm just waiting for the first team to go down 3-0 in the first round and make a coaching change. Hey, we need a spark. We need to win the next 4 games. Who can we bring in to give us a spark? I agree, T. I think it's probably a thing for next year. But I'm just thinking about it from a player's perspective. I'd be so pissed off. No matter what, I mean, at this point, you've gone the entire year with this coach. You've gone together, with this entire family this whole year, and then just to say, yeah, we're going to break it off now here at the end. I'd be like, screw it. I mean, I know they won't, but I mean, there's a part of me that'd be like, just screw it. I hope we don't make the playoffs just because of that.
But there is a slightly different, and I agree with what you're saying, but T, we talked about this on Thursday's show. There is a slightly different scenario here because if you do say screw it and piss off the last 5 games, it's unlike the Vegas situation because PDB does have a deal, although we don't know the exact terms of it, but it has been extended past this year. So he is going to be on the Isles bench next year.
But you're right, T. Like, what do you expect this coach to do that they haven't done for the past 74 games, 75 games? What could you possibly do in these last 5 games or 6 games, whatever it is, that somebody hasn't? You can't bring in new players. You're stuck with what you've got. And I mean, if you were this unhappy with a coach, then you should have fired him a lot earlier than this.
Well, that's my thing too, is like, if you were unhappy and you were having conversations, say in February about a coaching change, then you should have made the coaching change in February when there was a little bit more runway to go. This team plays again on Thursday night, albeit against the Maple Leafs, who, after watching them the other day in person, that's not good, eh? But they had 3 days off. They got all the rest of their games at home, so there's an opportunity for them to make the playoffs. But is this really a team that's going to make, like, do they match up well against Tampa? No. Do they match up well against Buffalo? I don't think so. Carolina? No. This team's one and done in the playoffs. That's why I think this is more for next year.
And if you think about the 2 teams that made these changes, Vegas and the Islanders, we could have had this exact same conversation, like you said, in February. It's not like we're like, oh my gosh, Vegas is playing bad. Vegas has been playing bad since game 1.
Yeah, I got to do something here because this is driving me nuts. It's distracting from my focus. And I already know this story, and I don't want to lose it in the shuffle here, but since we are talking about hockey, TJ, would you like to share with the world what you experienced on Saturday and all of its chaos? And I will be right back.
In a 10-hour span, including travel time to and from, I was able to watch the Kings and the Maple Leafs at the Crypt, then hightail it to Angel Stadium to watch 5 innings of the Angels and Mariners, and then cruise across the street to watch the last 2 periods of the Ducks and Flames on Saturday night. So I had a very busy time. So I got to watch, with regards to hockey, I got to watch the Maple Leafs, who are an absolute tire fire. The LA Kings, who cannot win games in regulation, yet they still somehow are in a position to make the postseason. The Anaheim Ducks, who are in absolute free fall right now, and the Calgary Flames, who of all 4 teams, played the best. And I still didn't see any Joe Show robberies. So figure that one out. But it was a good time.
That's cool. So let's talk about, since you're taking a drink, consumption. How much food did you eat during this period? What was your food highlight?
So that's a great question because we did this on a budget. So my food highlight was a bag of Wetzel pretzel bits at Angel Stadium. That was the highlight. And at that point in the night, that was about all I could eat because I was just stuffed to the gills. We kind of nerded out and took pops and drinks in a cooler to save a little bit of money, but it was all about just trying to do it all. And it was a good time. It was fun. The seats weren't great at any of the games, but it was just fun to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to do something like that, I mean, I know like when I would go on my baseball trips and stuff like that, I mean, it was never, we would pick like one game every once in a while and have like really good seats, like a stadium that we liked or a team that we liked. It's mostly just kind of like just being in the arena, like you said, kind of. But that's pretty cool. Three games. I can honestly say I've never done 3 games like that at all.
Yeah. And sorry guys, I couldn't take the shirt anymore. It was giving me a seizure on the program.
I didn't know I didn't know we were doing costume changes. I'm unprepared.
Hey, I'm like Taylor Swift, man. Do 15 of these a show, you just can't see most of them. Speaking of one of the teams that you saw in action on Saturday, T, the LA Kings. Are they aware that you are allowed to win a game in regulation and not have to go to overtime or a subsequent shootout? That's my first question. Los Angeles and Smashville. You do understand you can play a game that doesn't end in a shutout. And my final question is, who's the dolt in the scheduling department that had Nashville play in Los Angeles against the Kings, San Jose against the Sharks, and then back in Los Angeles against the Kings? Because I'm thoroughly confused about everything that is silver and black in Los Angeles.
And then tonight in Anaheim, before they go home, it's like so remember in the COVID year when teams were going and playing, like I remember the Coyotes played the Blues 7 games in a row.
Yeah. It's like a playoff series.
And there was some little discussion about, hey, when things go back to normal, this would be kind of cool. You have a team. I mean, the AHL does it. You have play a team on Friday, play a team on Sunday, and it never went anywhere. And then all of a sudden, I've seen it happen like 4 times in the last 2.5 months in the NHL. Like, I think that would be pretty awesome. I'm not going to lie about that. You buy 2 tickets to a Thursday, Saturday. You know you're getting the Blackhawks and the Kings or whatever, so you get to see Bedard 2 nights in a row. I think that'd be awesome. But I was listening to Ray Ferraro today, and Ferraro said, he goes, I was thumbing around at home, and I was like, oh, I'll turn the TV on and watch the end of the Kings game. And there is never an end to a Kings game. Just never.
It was maddening to watch them this weekend. Like I was, the shootout, I think it was Thursday night or Friday night, the first time they played Nashville in Los Angeles before Nashville left Los Angeles to come right back to Los Angeles in the same building. It was a fantastic shootout. It was a really good game, but I'm sitting there in like round 6 of the shootout, and I'm like, all right, dude, I needed Nashville to win. Obviously, for a benefit to the Sharks playoffs, I wanted Nashville to win. And then I'm like, just end this friggin' game already. These games are never over. And Mac, I know we've got a 5-hole ranking coming up, but I did want to knock the Kings out of the way here because I'm pretty sure they're not going to make whatever 5-hole and whatever hole you are taking us down this week. And if they do, we'll just get bonus time on the Kings here. But T, you've got a stat in here, and I want to get Mac's reaction to it because I know it blew my friggin' mind on the Kings in their last 77.
So this season in 77 games, the Kings have won exactly 19 games in regulation, which is less than 1 out of every 4 games. Jeez. They have 19 regulation wins.
Even the NBA East says that sucks.
So to put that into a little bit of perspective, the Toronto Maple Leafs have 23 regulation wins, and the New York Rangers have 24 regulation wins. Just to put that in a little perspective for you.
Jesus. I don't even know what to make out of that. Like it, Mac,
It's
you're our rankings guy. You do rankings for us all year. Give me a comparable team to where you would actually rank the Kings here to help me understand what I'm really seeing when I'm watching the Kings. I know I'm totally putting you on the spot there, but spitball.
No, I mean, I guess the easy comp, the easy out is, I mean, it'd be something like Vegas. Vegas is along the same line. I mean, you take a look. They got the, you know, just 35 wins is all they have. It's they're getting they're making the playoffs with everything else. It's something's going to have to be done with that, whether it's a scheduling thing, whether it's just going back to ties, or it's just a win. It's something's going to have to give.
If it's a scheduling thing in the NHL, I have definitely
not
no
happening.
hope because we know how that looks for everything. All right, let's not go any further here because the playoffs are right around the corner. So I think this is the actual penultimate time for Vegas Max 5-hole. Which hole are you taking us down this week?
Well, absolutely. Listen, it's March, so it's the March Madness hole, and which teams just kind of tore it up in March. We're going to take the Minnesota Wild. Now, you're going to notice a trend through all these. They had a couple of players that hit the 40-goal mark, but their power play top 5, penalty kill over 90%. Let's go to number 4. It's the Buffalo Sabres. They surged in March, 10-4-1. They had an absolute great month. They're going to have their first playoff berth in 14 years, and that's right, dominant on the kill, 83%. Number 3, the Carolina Hurricanes started the season, couldn't find a power play goal. They're up to now 35% on the power play. They lead the league in offensive time percentage, 45% of the time in the offensive zone. And listen, 23 shots on goal. That's all they give up per game. Number 2, the Dallas Stars, second best goals against average. Here we go again. Where's their power play rank? Number 2. And finally at number 1, it's Colorado. They clinched the first playoff spot. Their penalty kill, only about 95%. And oh yeah, they got those 2 guys, McKinnon and Makar. Yeah, not a bad March.
Not a bad March. That's the impressive thing, T, about Colorado to me is, we get the star power and the firepower from them, but they do all the little things really damn good this year, and they have since the onset of the season.
Yeah, and they absolutely do not care about what's going on right now. I mean, I watched that Vancouver game, which was kind of an S show defensively, that 8-6 game, but they just don't care. They know that they're gearing up for after April 18th. So this team is going to be an absolute, they're going to be really, really good. And I can't help but thinking, going back to the Kings, like a team that's won 19 games in regulation this year, do you want to watch them? They're play against the Colorado Avalanche. They are going to lose that series in 3 games. They are going to lose in 3.
Yeah, it's ridiculous too, and it just shows you the balance of power right now. Because I'm looking at the standings here, and we've got math on air, always fun. We've got 7 teams over the 100-point mark now. 3 of them are in the damn Central Division, as Minnesota has just achieved 100-point status on the season. I'm telling you, man, and I put it in the newsletter this morning. That Minnesota team at plus 850 or whatever to win the West, Mac, I don't think that's a crazy freaking bet, especially because they're playing their best hockey right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's one of the teams. I mean, like I said, I had them in our number 5 spot. They had a really, really good month of March. And like I said, the one thing that the reason I went that way is because I kind of started this as we get to the playoffs. There's a couple of things you always look at. It's how good is your power play, how good is your any of your special teams, and then of course how can you take the advantage when you have the 5-on-5? What teams have that 5-on-5 advantage, and just don't get burnt by what penalties they do take. And again, Minnesota is right there, top not only in their power play but in their power and their penalty kill as well. So they're right there. I mean, you take off the beginning of the season. I don't have a date for you, but I mean, I bet you if you took the first month off of the season, I bet you all 3 of those teams would probably be even closer together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Colorado just had that super amazing start.
Yeah, and I don't think you can argue that point in any way, shape, or form. T, I know you got something else on your mind. It's time for a wrister. So what do you got for me, bruh?
Dude, I just cannot get over the dog's breakfast that is the Pacific Division. I mean, yeah, we got 3 teams over 100 points in the Atlantic, but this Pacific is such a circus. Edmonton leads the division, Anaheim right behind, but they're in freaking free fall. At this point, 92 points is going to probably win the division. You got 5 teams battling for 3 or 4 spots. You've got the Kings, who are just absolute trash. And then you have the San Jose Sharks, who may be the most exciting team to watch in this division. And they have a game in hand that they're going to have to use this week. But they are so phenomenal to watch. We saw the comeback against Anaheim last week. They are doing it. They are putting it together. I want them to make the playoffs, but I don't want them to make the playoffs because I don't want them to run into the Colorado buzzsaw. But this is still an absolute free-for-all that's going to come down to the last game and probably against Nashville.
I got an email today that I didn't expect to get in the year 2026 from the San Jose Sharks asking me or reminding me and prepping me to buy my Stanley Cup playoff tickets. I wasn't sure if I was ever going to see one of those emails again, but I can buy first round playoff tickets as of April 10th. It'll be interesting to see. I'm going to stay on the same side of the fence. While I don't think he wins it, I think if the Sharks do back their way in, fight their way in, they have another game coming up with Nashville. They've got a couple interesting ones. They've got a back-to-back tomorrow and Thursday at home against Edmonton at Anaheim that I'm not going to be at, and I'm really pissed off about it. But if they get in, he's the Hart Trophy winner. He has to be at plus 850. He really has to be.
I watched that game the other night against Nashville, and they have like some really long losing streak against Nashville. It's like 15 or 18 games. It's I don't remember the number, but I just remember they said it. It's been like 15 or 18 games since they've beaten Nashville.
Yeah, I'm interested to see that one because those that don't know the story about Askey, okay, when they got Askarov from the Predators, it was to make room for Yusei Saros, and because of the pathway that Askey took, it was the first time they actually went head up against each other the other night. And Askey was not too thrilled to be answering questions post game. Was very pissed off about his performance. So I can't wait to see him between the pipes because I know Warsofsky's going to throw him back in net the next time they're in Nashville, which I think is Monday. It is, but to the original point here, T. I mean, it is a dog's breakfast. Is a great way to describe it right now. I will happily use the scraps for my personal fandom as chum if you get where I'm going with that, if it makes the Sharks get in. And I think actually getting them in to get blasted by the Avalanche is actually a better thing for them in the long run. But man, the Pacific is going to be a fun finish to watch, not necessarily because it's the best hockey to watch.
No, it really is. And the teams are just like cannibalizing on each other right now. It's great. And we talk about the schedule kind of being a mess, and like they kind of got it right because Nashville is in the middle of all these teams' schedules, and look who's in the fight for those last spots. Nashville's right in the middle of it, so they kind of got it right by accident.
It's so crazy. I'm looking at the wild card standings, and I know this is one of Mac's favorite stats, so that's why I'm going to say it to you. In the Western Conference wild card standings, there is one team, the number one team, wild card number one right now, the Utah Mammoth, who we don't talk about on the show very often for a reason. They're a plus 30 goal differential. Every other team behind them in the Western standings, even the ones that are eliminated, the best goal differential is the aforementioned more airtime outside of Los Angeles tonight for the Kings than anywhere else. The Kings at minus 20. You're talking about a 55 goal differential difference between Utah as the one wild card and LA as the 2 wild card. Mac, like, it's mind blowing to look at something like this.
No, there's a lot of red in that in that column. I mean, it's just it's crazy. But I mean, here's the thing: it tells a story, and that's sometimes statistics lie and sometimes they don't. And I think that's one of those statistics that we know everybody has one of those bad games, a 4-0, 5-0 game, but that's not what this is about. This is, overall through the course of the year, like, I mean, and I think, you look at to truly understand the stat, take a team like the Golden Knights. The Knights are going to be in the playoffs. Their goal differential is +7. Tells you everything you need to know that this really truly isn't a really good team. They're going to struggle in the playoffs because they don't score a lot of goals. It's just not a good. They're not a good team. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of cycling through the scores here, and I was going to say scores of note, but really all of these are scores of note because unlike the NBA, there's still a lot to be decided in the NHL. Florida up 3-2 on Montreal. About a minute left in that one. Ottawa blasting Tampa 5-2. Detroit up 3-2 on Columbus. Carolina up 5-4 on Boston. Colorado's got 3 to St. Louis's 1. Calgary up 2-1 on Dallas. Minnesota and Seattle in the second. 3-2 Wild. Philadelphia knocked off New Jersey, who started their house cleaning as TJ predicted a few months ago. Edmonton, Utah, Vancouver, and Vegas. Nashville and Anaheim still on the docket for the evening. Random before we start talking about golf. I saw this today. Talk about like stats not telling you, or certain stats don't tell you anything. Shane Smith today of the White Sox. 3 2/3 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned, 5 walks, and 8 strikeouts. In 3 2/3. You know what his pitch count was? 99.
I was going to go high 80s.
17 swings and misses, 3 2/3. He struck out 8, and he had 99 pitches. I was like, that looks like a damn video game box score. This is my other thing that came out that I love. I love seeing this every year because most of the people that read this know that most of it is complete horse crap. So I will start with a guy who's been to the most recent Major League ballpark. T, can you find a $4.62 beer at Angels Stadium of Mickey Mouse's Playhouse?
You can. It's a 12-ounce Bud Light, or Coors Light, but they do sell them.
Interesting. The Diamondbacks slightly above that at $5.13. And you had to be drunk anytime you're watching the Washington Nationals, but it's going to cost you a second mortgage on your house as the Nationals have beer prices, and this is as of last year's data, thanks to our friends at FanDuel for the graphic, $15.40 for a beer at a Nationals game? I wouldn't pay $15.40 to get into a Nationals game, let alone buy a beer at that price.
Yeah, I got to tell you, that's an underrated ballpark. That is a fun ballpark to go to. Really good sight lines there. Very underrated ballpark.
It's on my hit list for sure. That's one I definitely want to go to.
Area around it's not great, but I mean, although I remember the last time I was there, they were really trying to kind of create more community areas around it. But yeah, it's a good ballpark.
This has got me thinking, especially after TJ's trek this weekend. This is horrible to do live on a show, but that's my name up there. How many of these ballparks have you guys been to? This is always a fun conversation.
Oh, I'm sure Mac's been to a ton of them.
Let's see. I'll start in the first column. I've been the only one I haven't been to Milwaukee. I haven't been to the new one in Texas. So there's 2 there. I haven't been to the new Mets stadium. I haven't been to the A's Sacramento complex. So that's 4.
Neither have they.
Yeah, Miami or Tampa Bay. So that's 6. And Minnesota and Atlanta. So I'm 8. But I mean, it's one of those things. It's kind of like, if you go like the only places I haven't seen a game, I've never seen a game in Tampa. I've never seen a game in Miami, and I've never seen a game in Miami, Tampa. Oh, and Atlanta. Atlanta, Tampa, and Miami are the only 3 places I've never seen a game.
So you said 8?
Yeah, because new ones like I've been to
Yeah.
Shea, and I've but I haven't been to Citibank. I mean, like, so like that. Yeah.
That actually shocks me that I'm one ahead of you at 9. T, how many for the hit list for you? I know you've got a really interesting one that I'm envious of that I got to get to. And no, it's not Angel Stadium.
I've been to, on that list, if you don't count the Coliseum, it's 10.
Okay.
But I've been to Houston, Boston, and Cleveland, but I never saw a game.
Interesting.
So that I was saying there's 8 that I haven't been to.
Oh, there's only 8 that you haven't.
Yeah,
okay.
I was gonna say,
I
yeah.
misheard you.
Yeah, no, I wanted to make sure. Yeah, there's only 8 that I haven't been to.
Hey, beer prices at a Rockies game are appropriate for what you have to watch on the field.
It's true.
$3.08. I wonder if that comes out of Paul D. Podesta's computer analytics stuff in there. What's the most random one on that list that you've been to that maybe you wouldn't guess that one of us has been to? Like, obviously, we're not going to say Fenway Park for Mac because we know that's an obvious one. What's the most random one you got up there? T, I'll let you start because I'm pretty sure I know yours.
The most random that I've been to?
Yeah, that we'd be like, oh, wow, that's somewhere we'd never expect you to go see a game.
Oh, shoot. It's probably New York or Chicago.
Which Chicago? Have you done both of them?
No, I just done Wrigley.
No, you're not missing much at the other one. What about you, Mackenzie?
How about the Great American Ballpark? I love that place.
That one looks like a fun one to go to.
That's a fun ballpark.
I've been to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them in the far right column. Number 7 is coming this summer. So that's the area that I've got the most. The most random one for me that still throws people off when I tell them I've been there and I love it is actually Truist Park in Atlanta. That place is freaking ridiculously cool. Went on my 40th birthday, had a huge rain delay, had club seats, sat there and got hammered for 2 hours and ate some stuff I can't even pronounce, which will lead us into what we're going to talk about next. The layout of the ballpark, what they've done with the battery, the district leading up to the ballpark. The only negative I would say about Truist Park in Atlanta is if you're using rideshare to get out of there, it takes a long effing time. Hopefully that's been improved, but that was like my only negative about the whole ballpark.
So here's a story, not for me, but from Jonathan. Jonathan just bought his first car, so he's got his new car. He's down in the valley. He bought tickets to go see the Diamondbacks this weekend. Oops.
Okay.
He forgot that the Final Four was on Friday night.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So he's driving down there. He's like, Dad, there's so many people here. I'm like, did you forget the Final Four? He's like, oh, yeah. He had to pay $60 for parking.
Jeez.
Rookie mistake.
$60 to watch the Diamondbacks play a game in April.
Rookie mistake, baby. He had great seats, though. He was in the first row in left field, out in left field in that first row. So great seats, but rookie mistake.
That was the boring one, too, of that whole series. It was 2-0. There was only 8 hits.
Yep.
Ugh. T can tell you a story at some point that I still don't remember all of, but have you ever consumed 2 monsters and still found yourself passed out asleep in a baseball stadium? Because I have, actually, right next to that guy.
I can't say I have, but
Can't confirm.
2 monsters, dude. It didn't even faze me. It was out like a freaking light, which was a theme of this weekend because we had our fantasy baseball draft on Saturday, and I barely made it through that thing. All right, Masters. I love it because we come off the high of the Final Four, the national championship game. Baseball is now in its, like, we're getting into that third week, normal scheduling, this, that, and the other thing. And then we got the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, and it's like perfect that the Masters kind of gets to sit on a weekend where it basically stands by itself. As you know, the champion of said Masters is awarded a champions dinner the following year, and they get to pick the menu. This year it was served in honor of Mr. Rory McIlroy. 4 appetizers. Rory goes with peach and ricotta flatbread, rock shrimp tempura, bacon wrapped dates, grilled elk sliders. Those are his appetizers. Must be nice to be freaking Rory McIlroy, huh? First course, yellowfin tuna carpaccio. Main course, a Wagyu filet mignon or a seared salmon. Dessert, sticky toffee pudding. Several wines that are way too fancy for me to pronounce here. And it got me thinking. It's actually got me thinking for quite a while here. Rory said he wanted to bring a little bit of the flair of the local area. That's why he went with the peach and ricotta flatbread. Not really sure that sounds very appetizing to me now that I read it out loud again. But somebody asked him today in his press conference, why didn't you go more Irish on the menu? And he said, because I want to actually enjoy the dinner too. I haven't had bad Irish food before. Have you ever had bad Irish food?
Well, no, but I mean, it's all boiled, isn't it?
Yeah. Where's the bad part of the story?
I don't know.
Shout out to the Irish Cowboy down in Casa Grande that I went to with my dad. They've got some incredible freaking burgers there. But it made me think, especially with quite the cast of characters that we have on this very program, what would we all put on our Masters menu if we were the champion? Which would never happen because I'd be shocked if we were allowed within 100 yards of Augusta ever. Matt could probably play it off. They'd look at me and T and go, yeah, nope. You're the kind of people we don't let into facilities like this. So let's start with appetizers, guys. What would be on your Masters champion menu? This is probably a horrible thing to do before I haven't eaten dinner, but here we are. Come on, Matt.
Go ahead,
you
T.
start.
I'll start. Well, listen, I was trying to think of this being strategic in this. And, when you go to a dinner like this, like you want to be able to talk. So the first thing I'd have out there is just chips and salsa. Because it's one, it kind of gets you warmed up, but it's a great food to be eating just as you're holding conversation.
Okay.
So that would be my first start. Then second, a variety of different chicken wings. Just chicken wings, all kinds of sauce. Dip it in. Now you're going to start to kind of get into it a little bit. But still, with chicken wings, you can still have a pretty good conversation. Then, yeah, you just, it's one of those.
Keep going. I could stop you at several points during this, I'm sure.
Third on my list is fried scallops. If you haven't had them, you just don't know. Fried scallops. And then finally, finish it off with some clam cakes and chata.
So what Mac would be doing at his Masters dinner with his appetizer assortment tea is trying to blow out the guts of all of his competition on the course.
Holy smokes.
That is an interesting mix there, dude, because you went from sports bar to cruise ship on your appetizers there, but that doesn't shock me one bit with you whatsoever. T, what would be on your appetizer menu for the Masters Dinner of Champions served in honor of Mr. Tony James?
Dude, I loved the scallops and crab cakes, so I went with those. A little fried matzah and the chicken tendies have to be in there.
Chicken tendies. TJ and Dominic Mysterio at Augusta National here. You guys, I think, are completely overthinking this. Do this simple. You come in nice and easy. Little caprese bruschetta, something light, little salty, gets you moving. It's an actual appetizer, not like a damn meal like you put out. I also do agree with the chicken wings, but I would go chicken wings and tendies. Like, you can split it up there. And then you go with some quarter cut chicken potato skins. Don't knock it until you try it. T knows a restaurant down here in the valley that I used to frequent that used to sell those, and I used to eat them like they were a part of a normal functioning diet there. So that's what I got. I'm anticipating somebody eating chips and salsa and then going, clam cakes and chowder here. That sounds like a good mix. Up salsa and clams and chowder. Not happening. That's a bad mix right there. All right, let's get to the main course here before we get to the main course, which is our Masters predictions. Or the first course, I'm sorry. Course. I read the menu wrong. Yeah. Go ahead, Vegas Mac, with your eloquent palate that you have. What is on your first course of your Masters Champions dinner?
First course is lobster tails and drawn butter.
Like, do we have crayons on for placemats here, and we're drawing what butter looks like? What the hell is drawn butter?
That's the fancy way of saying butter.
Oh, so
Just
again,
don't. You can't just say butter. It's
hoity-toity Mackenzie on the program
That's right.
this evening. What do you got for your first course there, Teota?
Dude, I'm going fish tacos with charro beans.
I'm going with some smoked sausage. Now we're gonna walk you. We're gonna walk you into being in the South. We're gonna take care of you in the South because we know how to eat in the South. So I'm going like little smoked sausage, and screw it, French fries just to be different. You know, give everybody a little something to go. It's only the first course here of this, and it all goes great with wine. What is the main attraction of the Mackenzie Masters palate?
The main course is prime rib, crab legs, and corn on the cob.
I'm going to sue you for false advertisement because that's not something you had on your original rundown of your menu.
Oh, sorry.
Can't change that shit on the fly.
I couldn't find said thing, so I had to go to my original notes.
Why does that not shop? See, what's on your main course of your master's menu?
Oh, we're going to go big now. We're going to go tomahawk steaks, sea bass, and pork chops.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know why I love it? Because the main course on mine, we're going brisket and loaded potato salad. I'm going to get you countrified while we're down here. Also, ribs. Like, you got it. You're in the South. You got to do it.
We had brisket tonight.
Great. That does me no good. 3.5 hours from you.
Wanted to let you know.
All right, what's on the dessert menu, Mackenzie?
Apple crisp. It's the best dessert in the world. Apple crisp.
All right. T, what's on yours?
Soft serve vanilla chocolate ice cream with Canadian Smarties as the topping.
Canadian Smarties, man, are a trip. They are a trip. They are not what I expected. I'm not a dessert guy, so we're just going to drink old fashions until somebody meets me on the 9th green at 9 o'clock or whatever the case may be. So there you go, Masters menus. I've been wanting to do that for a long time. Now I want to order a sampler platter that has prime rib, brisket, tomahawk steak, and scallops on it just to eat dinner tonight before I go to bed. If I'm not here tomorrow, then
scallops. Gotta say it right. Scallops.
Nah. Do I have to say it with my pinky out too?
No, but if you're a New England guy, it's scallops.
No. You take your scallops, put them in the car, set your park down by the park, at the yard. Yeah, we can do all that all day long. I'm not going to. All right, let's get into some actual golf picks here. Who the hell talks about food on the show? We just did. You're welcome. And you're grocery shopping. As we've told you before on this program, we can help you grocery shop too. I'm actually surprised that you didn't go with strawberry shortcake for your dessert, Mackenzie.
Yeah, no.
All right, let's get into some picks here. We're going to do it a little different. TJ's back in the fold for golf picks because he's Mr. Signature Event, and there's nothing more signature than the first major here. But we're going to do our normal, as you see on Mike versus Mac. That video will come out tomorrow. Mac is up basically 40 points on me. It'll take me 2 stages to get to where Mac got in 1 stage. But, hey, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So, long shot, top 10, winner, best bet. We can do it in any order. I'm going to go to my best bet and start us off there. I'm going to go with a lefty at Augusta. Who doesn't love a freaking lefty at Augusta? Not that lefty. Don't love that lefty. But Robert McIntyre, who flirted with another victory for Vegas Mac last week. Plus 240 to finish in the top 10. And I was a little bullish on him because I don't want to see a guy play his best golf of the year the week before you get to Augusta, and I kind of feel like he did that last week. But I think with the makeup of the field in his game, top 10 at plus 240 is well worth the risk on one Robert McIntyre. Speaking of a Mac-Enzy, do you have a best bet for me?
I don't, but if you give me a second, yeah, I do. I'm gonna go this way. I think somebody off the board, who I think he would drive Augusta crazy if he actually won, and that would be Terrell Hatton.
Oh my God!
Could you imagine that dinner?
Can you imagine him in the butler cabin getting a
Right.
green jacket?
But I mean,
every F-bomb that would come out of his mouth.
How can you not root for him to be like somewhere on Sunday, mic'd up, ready to go? I think, if you're looking for like kind of an outside, really long shot, I think he's definitely got the game and that toughness to win it. He hasn't yet. But I think that would be a good. If you're looking for a super long shot, heck, why not?
I don't hate it. The chaos scenario is always one that I enjoy. I don't hate it.
He's at.
Do you have a best bet, or do you want to go into your picks first? Because I just saw your theme, and that's hilarious.
I can get them all out of the way. So on Sunday, we were thumbing around looking for something to watch, and we decided to watch Happy Gilmore 2. And it kind of maybe exceeded my low expectations. So I went with golfers who appeared in Happy Gilmore 2. I'm picking Xander Schauffele to win this thing. I've got Colin Morikawa in the top 10, and my long shot is Justin Thomas with a little slight edge to Reggie Bush. Who is absolutely outstanding.
Mackenzie, you can follow that one because usually he has to follow you when you go off the board references there.
All right,
beautiful.
That was good. My long shot is a guy who, number one, hasn't played in a couple of weeks. Yes, and also who? Sorry, Hurricanes won. Overtime.
Really excited about this next pick, huh?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I get thinking about this. The last time this event happened in his life, his golf game went bonkers. And I'm talking about Scotty Scheffler. Just had another kid, not him, but his wife. They just had another baby. The last time that happened, he was unstoppable. He didn't lose forever. And so here we are again, another new kid. He's going to want to have another trophy for this kid. What a great long shot, Scotty Scheffler. Then my top 10. I have a theme this week also, T. It's obviously it's Team USA. And who better to lead Team USA than Patrick Reed?
Bitch.
Patrick Reed. Listen, the reason you're like that is because that's a good pick.
No, he's obnoxious as hell, and I hate watching him play golf. And the last thing I want to do when the back nine on Sunday happens, where the tournament really starts, is see his big dumb face involved in it.
Right, but he's played really good golf, and it's
it's easy to do when you only play 3 days every 2 weeks.
Right, but he's due for one of these, and then. I was gonna go Rory, and in fact, because I wasn't gonna pick Scotty, I was gonna try to be bullish and say, look, I won the whole first segment and didn't pick Scotty Scheffler, but I didn't do that. But another guy who I think really is who really wants this. I think Reed wants, but I think this guy really, really, really more than anything wants to win this, and that's Bryson.
That one's acceptable. Patrick Reed. F that guy. Now, I don't even want to give my picks now. Because I think you're just screwing with me now. Because you even just said that you were thinking about going, well, I can win the segment without Scotty Scheffler. I think you're just screwing with me right now.
I was gonna say I wasn't gonna pick Scotty or Rory, and I was gonna go, can you imagine? That's how I was gonna start. I said, can you imagine Sunday afternoon, the back nine, the last twosome, Terrell Hatton and Patrick Reed.
Oh. It'd be the first time in the history of the Masters that the leaders on the back nine were there was no audio to it because you couldn't leave a live mic anywhere around those two.
Oh my gosh.
we've talked about this for a little bit, a little while. With the run he's been on the last couple of years, my long shot, I've already said it. It was in our newsletter a couple weeks ago. I may or may not have made this bet several times at several different numbers. It's Chris Gotterup. I think his ability to control the ball and keep it low when he needs to and just be creative in your shots, which, as we all know in watching the Masters over our lifetimes, there's several situations where you have to be really damn creative, and I think he's a guy that kind of fits that. Top 10, another guy who's got his game going about as good as possible right now, and I couldn't stand watching him golf about a year ago, and now I can't get enough of watching this guy. But my top 10 is Matthew Fitzpatrick. I think another guy whose game sets up really good for Augusta, and then I hope to hell he does this with an Augusta Green Jackets, whatever the minor league team is in Augusta, hat on, since he doesn't have a sponsor, even though it'll probably be an Amen corner hat. But in whatever gear he buys from the pro shop at Augusta, I think Tommy Fleetwood actually gets himself a green jacket. I think he's another guy who's been on a really good momentum run since the end of last year. He looks like he's loose. He's playing loose. And a lot of people have talked about this with Rory this week. Is like, hey, once you tee off and all the hobnobbing and kissing babies is done, now that he's gotten the monkey off his back, is he fully capable of ripping off another Masters? Which I think is something a lot of people have kind of like put through their heads this week. Like, what if Rory has no pressure at Augusta anymore? What does that mean he can do? Either way, I love it because, as we talked about a little bit earlier, guys, it gets to kind of basically stand alone. It's only the third week of baseball. The playoffs in the NBA and NHL haven't started yet. There really isn't anything else to watch this weekend. Mm-hmm. Don't do it, Mackenzie, because you're going to say there's something else to watch this weekend that I don't care to watch this weekend. It's the Masters weekend. We're not gonna like just watch this and say it was worth watching this weekend.
We didn't have it last week because of Easter, so I'm jonesing.
Can't hide Easter eggs on a racetrack. Shocking. All right, it's that time of the program. Mac, is there anything that you need to get off of your chest on this Tuesday? Anything that's bothering you? Anything that you've seen that just sticks in your craw, like some bat flips and some shanks?
I am here to declare that the Big Ten is the Conference of Champions. Listen, if you are a student athlete and you want to win a championship, you've got to go to the Big Ten. Now listen, I'm going to tell you why. Men's soccer, who is the national champion? The Washington Huskies. How about women's soccer? Stanford. They lost to North Carolina in the national championship game. Let's go to women's hockey. Wisconsin Badgers, national championship. Who did they play? Ohio State. What's in common? Same conference, Big Ten. How about men's wrestling? That's right. Where did the national championship come from? Penn State, another Big Ten school. And then don't forget men's water polo. UCLA is the champion. Who did they beat? USC. Again, two Big Ten schools. And of course, football with Indiana. Women's basketball with UCLA, men's basketball with Michigan. Why do we even play the sports? It's a one-conference league, ladies and gentlemen. The Big Ten is your Conference of Champions.
I find it wildly appropriate that the Conference of Champions is terrible at math.
I also think Bill Walton is rolling over upstairs above us right now going, what did you say?
So it's
the Conference of Champions is UCLA's conference.
I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, three-time football champion. I mean, there's a lot there. That's a pretty impressive conference.
Reign of terror it is from the Big 27 that spans basically coast to coast. Mm-hmm. Almost like you would call it the Coastal Conference, but we can't because the Atlantic Coast Conference also covers both coasts. Man, these institutions of higher learning are really setting the bar at a new freaking level every year. All right.
They should just name it the Conference of Champions. Just that's what we are.
No, but Vegas Mac wannabe Walton. No. All right, last week we debuted Crossing Streams. Numbers we can't give you on tonight's show, but if you follow us on all of our social channels, at Mike Arana Show, everywhere but Snapchat, because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks, we will post edition number 2 of Crossing Streams. And since Mackenzie likes to brag so much on the show about all the contests we do in the show that he wins, I've decided we're keeping records this year on Dollar Dingers and on everything we damn do. As we know, TJ was our football picker guy of champions of our conference of champions last year. We know Mac is dominating the golf scene again, has one of the best brackets in the country, so we're going to keep track of these. Last week, Macklin Celebrini let us down because we got Cole Reagan strikeouts, we got Denny Avias over his points, rebounds, assists, and this was on Thursday last week, so that was the game that the Sharks played against the Maple Leafs, if I'm remembering back correctly. Either way, it was a game where the Sharks did a lot of scoring, and Macklin Celebrini, ironically, did none of it. So we'll try again. Almost had it last week. $5 bet. Again, you can play them straight. You can play them together. That's up to you. It will post tomorrow morning on our social channels. That being said, what Crossing Streams is TJ's kind of a resident puckhead. Mac is our seam head. And I'm our also seam head. I need a different slang term for basketball here. So we're all picking from the different sports, putting them together into one parlay that's supposed to be fun, like English is. So this week I will start with Vegas Mac. Why don't you give us our baseball play of the day tomorrow?
All right. I know how much it drives you crazy that I'm on this kick with the pitchers and they're over and under how many outs they're going to get. So I strayed away from it this week. I'm going with a home run pick tomorrow. I'm going with Gunnar Henderson, a home run against the White Sox.
Gunnar Henderson to go yard for the O's against the White Sox and Sean Burke. I don't hate it. T, what do you got on the ice for us tomorrow nights?
Tomorrow night, I've got Capitals at Scotiabank Arena to take on the dog-s Toronto Maple Leafs. But one bright spot for the Leafs is Matthew Nyes, Phoenix-born Matthew Nyes. Anytime goal scorer for Matthew Nyes tomorrow.
So we've got a home run hitter. We've got a goal scorer, Matty Nyes, the lamp guy. I've got to deal with the NBA. And I was kind of thinking about playing the same thing, just going back to Mr. Reliable for me, Denny Advia, or Donovan Clingan from the Blazers. But they are playing the Spurs, and if Wemby plays a lot, it obviously affects some of their rebounding numbers, which affects our bet. So I'm going to look to an equally shitty place, and that would be Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. Not the arena, not the city. Loved it when I was there. Equally shitty place is the Milwaukee Bucks, who were told by their head coach to Google his resume because he was worth it, and that has not gone over well, like his entire existence as the Bucks coach. So they are in Detroit to take on the Pistons tomorrow night. There's no Giannis. There's no a whole lot of anything for the Bucks. So I'm going to go with my favorite Piston, Jalen Duren, and I'm going to play him at 35 points, rebounds, and assists tomorrow. Obviously, that's a number I have to get on an alt line. It might be that high. He averages 19 points, 10 rebounds, and about 2 assists a game, but Milwaukee is the literal definition of hot ass right now in the NBA and about to be must-see TV in the offseason because that shit show is about to explode. So I'm going to go with Jalen Duren to have a big game for the Pistons tomorrow, who actually don't really have anything to play for anymore this year. So Jalen Duren, 35 points, rebounds, and assists. Matty Nyes, the goal guy from TJ. And Vegas Mac going with Gunnar Henderson to go yard against the White Sox. Man, that was a fun show. I am, for some reason, incredibly hungry right now that I can't figure out. Any final words from you in the middle, Mackenzie?
Very proud of the University of Connecticut. Men's and women's teams didn't have the success they wanted in the Final Four, but they got there again. And the Boston Red Sox won a game. So I'm happy with that.
All right, I'm glad you circled
Hey!
back to the Red Sox because I was going to tell you that the part that you started with was your second free hand job that you gave out tonight. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys. They don't care what you think.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and I got my first round of golf in this summer or this year, so that was fun on Friday. Got to play a little golf.
I'm getting my third one in on Saturday because the Masters doesn't start on Saturday until I say it's time. TJ, next time I'll see you is Thursday. Any final words from you on this fine Tuesday?
I got nothing. I got
hate
absolutely nothing. I hate it here.
For the boys on the screen, for everybody behind the scenes, again, sign up for that newsletter, MikeAranaShow.com/links. Follow us on all of our social channels at Mike Arana Show everywhere but Snapchat because we're not 12 and Snapchat sucks. Coming up in just a few minutes on those very social channels. A little bit more from my conversation a couple weeks ago with Jared Smith. Now that everybody is focusing on betting playoff hockey and hoops, we talked about strategies and how he goes about betting baseball. So make sure you check that out. For the boys, we'll talk with you tomorrow night. Lunchtime live on Thursday. No show on Friday, but we got plenty to talk about. We'll talk with you again tomorrow night. You know the drill by now. We're out.